Today on the driver's corner, we are changing out the radiator in the 2002 F250 Super Duty, the easy way. Stay tuned. The other day I was driving home from work and the F250 started leaking antifreeze. So I was digging around outside the truck and I saw a puddle. It wasn't steaming and it wasn't making any crazy racket and the gauge never went up, but the truck definitely had a pretty good leak. Every time I would shut the truck off, it would leave a pretty good puddle. I did my best to try to contain my situation here, and I watched a couple of videos on YouTube and I figured, you know what, it would probably be worthwhile me showing the easy way to do this so that you're not so intimidated. I watched some of the other videos where you had to take the clutch fan off and a bunch of other things. I think you can do it without taking the clutch fan off, and that is what I did today. So most of the videos that I watched showed you taking this clutch fan out of the car, which is a real pain and probably easier to get this out. And I'm assuming you just have to be a little bit more careful getting the new radiator back in. So the process is really simple. You have a bolt here where that is. You have two bolts here. They go on those brackets like that, and this one here over in that region. And then you have two bolts on the back side of your shroud. And all you have to do is loosen those, take the hoses off of this. There's two bolts down there beside the battery that connect here, and then I just shove that to the side. Underneath, on my particular truck, I don't know if this is the case for all of them, but mine had the transmission cooler going into the radiator, and I am apparently spilling transmission fluid everywhere, so I'm gonna try to stop that bleeding. I'll be right back. Bleeding stopped. I'm in a hurry on this project anyway. It's freaking freezing out here. I'm not feeling super good. My shoulder really hurts. But you gotta do what you gotta do. So this is a Murray radiator that I got from O'Reilly Auto Parts. Let's go ahead and check and make sure that this compares to the one that's on the truck right now. Before I do any project, I always make sure that the part that I'm about to put in is identical to the part that I'm taking out. So let's take a look at these two radiators. All right, so this is the Murray, the new radiator that I bought. Looks pretty good. There's a little crinkle here. Not sure what's up with that, but I think we can live with that as long as it doesn't leak. Overall, it has the exact same number of inlet and outlet ports. They're in the same spots. I'm gonna go ahead and retain this and the metal studs, barbs out of the bottom of the radiator because I'm a psychopath. And I just wanna make sure that in case something ever happens, I have those laying around. So all these plugs will come off. I'm gonna go ahead and leave them on while I'm shoving it down in the hole there. And let's see if I can get this in without scratching up the fins like this one is from either my exit or the way it was already. All right, so we're almost there. There's two little pins in the bottom that you have to kind of guide into place that hold the radiator in down there. All right. So to hold this thing in place, I'm gonna go ahead and put these brackets back on, and that should make things easy for us on reassembly. All right, I don't think we're fully seated, so let's go into there and see where I've got to hang up. This bracket here, there's a peg that's supposed to slide into that hole. Obviously didn't have it quite in there, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that with the camera off. All right, as you can see, I got that bracket slid into the rubber bushing, and I'm gonna go ahead and tighten everything up on the top end here. So you just slide your bracket back on the top, pull this thing back into place like that, and then if I had a camera person, this would look so professional. Okay. So those should hold that side in. This one's a little bit bigger. Went across the top. Again, slides in. Oops. Do that. We want to make sure that bracket sits top. Well, one of these brackets fell down in there, and it doesn't actually hit bottom. This is like a tubular piece, so I don't have that for today. I'll have to come back and fix that another day. In the interim, as I was saying, this piece goes on the radiator. This piece slides back here, and I will hold it in place now and try to get the top end in. Next step for reinstall is going to be putting this hose that goes to the overflow back onto that nipple right there. Shouldn't be too hard. Look at that. All right. Then I'll go ahead and move that clamp back. All right. Just putting the last bolts into the shroud up here. So the shroud clips into some little clippies at the base. I'll show you that. They're actually built into the radiator. So those two little slots on the bottom, the shroud connects to that. So we are all in place and ready to go. I'm gonna go ahead and reattach the overflow container. And then I think other than that hose on that side, we are done up top. So with that, our overflow container is back in place. Hose is back on here. We'll go ahead and do this one now. Get the upper hose connected. And look at this. Got a free clamp and a little clippy. It's pretty exciting. Upper engine hose. There. All right, so we are all tightened up top here, other than that one mistake over here with that bracket we're not going to talk about right now. Let's get underneath and connect everything down there. This one is for our transmission cooler line on the driver's side. So I'm gonna go ahead and connect that now. On and tightened. All these bends and stuff are from somebody else. Last time this radiator was changed, so I'm not taking ownership. On to the next and final 3. All right, so I double checked everything. I think everything's good and tight. So we are gonna go ahead and I'm using, this is actually kind of cool. This was used in winemaking. My grandfather used to use this as part of his winemaking setup. And I am gonna use this to attempt to get that bucket full of antifreeze into the truck without spilling all of it. Well, despite my best efforts, I lost a little bit of coolant. Some of that might have been from driving it home and spilling it and all the other stuff that happens. So I'm gonna hope that I have some antifreeze here that I can fill up the truck with. All right, I ended up a little short. I am gonna go ahead and start the truck, let it run, see how low this gets, and then I'm gonna have to run out and get some more antifreeze. All right, so it's all back together. I'm letting it run and warm up for a little bit. I'm gonna try to make sure that nothing pops off or gets loose. I'll run it around the block, and then tomorrow I'll go ahead and drive to work. But overall, I think that that's mostly water. Overall, the project went really well. For a normal person, not trying to film, not trying to be ridiculous, if you go ahead and get your 8mm wrenches, a large set of channel locks, and a couple adjustable wrenches, it'll come in, out, drained, everything in 30 minutes. So don't take your fan off. There's no need to do that unless you're super clumsy. You can just pull it out straight out of the top once you shove that cowl back. So it really is an easy in and out, 30 minutes doing it by yourself. I hope this video helps. It's creeping up there, we're getting close. A couple more minutes and then we're gonna call this one job done adequately. As always, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you haven't done so yet, please like and subscribe for more content on the F250 Super Duty, the Porsche Cayenne S, the Wrangler, the 911, or the Range Rover. I'm also shopping for a new daily driver, so there'll be something else added to the fleet shortly. Thanks again. I'll see you guys on the next video.